Zuzu and I left the arcade, occasionally stopping to be given praise or to be asked questions about our gaming skills. Ugh, we're real gamers. Did we not just prove this? We eventually headed out to the parking lot, where a decently used Jade motorcycle sat with chains around its wheels. Zuzu quickly took off the chains and took the seat on the bike, getting out 2 helmets, placing one on her own head, and ushering me to sit behind her. Ooh, we're going on a bike ride. So cool. I followed her gesture and made myself comfortable in the leather seat behind her, putting on one of the helmets and wrapping my arms around her waist. Aww, this is a fun first date. I had ridden with her on her motorcycle before, so this was nothing new to us. Zuzu revved the engine and quickly sped out of the parking lot, driving into the streets toward a fast food joint.
Does Paradise Parlor sound good? I'd love some Paradise Nuggets and cheese fries.
Yes. Yeah, sounds good. We went through drive-thru and ordered meals for ourselves before heading to my home. Zuzu parked in the front, watching me dismount from her bike.
Thanks for late lunch.
Or early dinner. Yeah, matter of preference, I guess. It might as well be dinner now. Zuzu and I laughed. It was funny how time flew by. Want to stick around and eat together?
Huh? Oh, nah man, I gotta head back home and watch Francesca while my folks meet up with some bigwigs from the casino.
Ah. Well, that's sad. Real life interruptus, I guess. Oh, okay. See you in school then.
Thanks though. See ya!
Bye. I waved at Zuzu as she quickly headed out the gates and back home. I smiled as I watched her go before heading back inside. Zuzu stuck around in my mind for a little longer than I expected, but I couldn't help but smile. Aww. Not the first seeds of something. And now we are back to skipping. Because the night's kind of uneventful. Which is nice. Until the next day and we run to Lizette and her crowd and... You know what? Girl, I will fight you. Get her. I had enough. I felt adrenaline rush through my body as I pounced off the ground and rushed at Lizette. I was not going to be the only one with scrapes this time. I tackled Lizette to the ground, swiping and slapping her innocent face. She screamed in fright before trying to push me off and block my attacks.
Holy shit! Anderson!
I know, right? This is great.
Stop it!
Nope. I wasn't listening anymore. I let my carnal need to get revenge take over as I began to pull on Lizette's hair to get better aim at her face with my free hand. I'd had enough of the bullying, the wounds, the insults. All of that was going to burn in the past as I straightened my nails and hands across Lizette's face over and over. My rebellion would be marked on her pretty face for all to see. Lizette pushed me off and scrambled to her feet, both panicked and angry at the same time. Her emotion was nowhere near close to anger I was feeling.
Are you crazy? What the hell?
Yeah, I am crazy. Why do you ask? I stood up very slowly, glaring daggers into Lizette's soul through her eyes. I must have had some sort of monster behind me. Or maybe I look like the monster myself. But the gaggle of girls Lizette and even my friends had a look of pure terror on their faces. I would not call that look pure terror. I would call that look dirt face. I have had enough of you, Lizette. You obviously won't stop unless I fight back. Well, guess what? You're gonna get it. I charged at Lizette a second time, shoving her hard against the lockers. She let out a yelp of pain as she smacked the back of her head against the metal behind her, before glaring and shoving me back. As I stumbled back, Lizette raised her hand, ready to fight.
Then come on, Anderson! Show me what you've got! I bet it's not much.
Oh, girl, fine. I let myself snarl in anger before raising my own fists, remembering my taekwondo. I quickly snapped onto one leg and raised a leg to get a swift kick at her head, but she blocked with her arm and stepped towards me to jab at me. She had training, not surprising, but I didn't care at that moment. I bent back away from the incoming jab, re-establishing my balance as I placed both feet on the floor. Lisette threw jab upon jab at me, forcing me to block my torso and face with my arms and hands. Hit for hit, Lisette and I exchanged and defended blows at each other. It was indeed more than just a catfight. This was a vengeful duel. I'm honestly surprised we're not getting, broken up by now. In my mind, all I saw was Lisette. All I wanted was to make her stop, and if that meant beating her down, then it had to be done. We eventually gained a small crowd of people. Yeah, I'd imagine. All silent but observing the fight. That I doubt very much so. My anger intensified, and my hits became harder with each second that passed between us. I couldn't let her win. I wouldn't let her win. None of Lisette's girls dared to step in, apparently afraid after seeing our skills in our individual fighting styles. Zuzu was held back by Naomi's arms, despite both of them wanting to help me. We didn't wait long for it to end, though. Suddenly, Lisette was pulled away from me, and I was pushed against the lockers by a strong force. Lisette hit the lockers as well on the opposite end of the hallway, letting out a girly grunt of pain. Hi. Also, who are you, blonde lady? I don't know you. And why don't your eyes match? I looked up to see my art teacher, Ms. Gordon, holding me against the lockers with a look of surprise and serious concern on her face.
Miss Anderson, what are you doing?
Being a badass? Blink, blink. Oh, sure, turn on the waterworks now. I looked to see Lisette being held back by Mrs. Phillips, starting to cry innocently. I knew what was going to come out of her mouth, so I tried to push Miss Gordon off to confront her. Miss Gordon, however, kept an arm wrapped around me, keeping me back. No! Don't you dare start crying, Lisette! You started this!
Miss Anderson, get a hold of yourself!
No! I want to fight! What is wrong with you? What did I ever do to you? I couldn't stop the angry tears running down my face as I shouted across the hallway. Lisette and Mrs. Phillips stared in shock at my screams as Miss Gordon tightened her hold on me. I am sick of it! Leave me alone! Eventually, I lost my energy and began weighing down by Miss Gordon's arms, letting my sadness take over and quench my anger with tears and swelling pain. I could feel Miss Gordon hug me to her to keep me upright as Lisette sniffled and confided with Mrs. Phillips.
I didn't do anything to her! She just attacked me all of a sudden.
Lies!
That's a lie, Lisette.
Exactly.
You tripped her on purpose. You've always been a snobby prick to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Never! I gave
Lies.
my condolences about her grandfather's death!
In the
I
most
tried to keep
backhanded
everyone
manner
calm.
possible.
Is that so wrong?
Oh, dear Lord, girl. Please say these are smart teachers and they can see through this shit.
You didn't even sound sincere. We know you were only pretending to be nice to spite us.
Exactly, Naomi. Thank you.
Enough. Miss White, follow me to the dean's office.
Yeah, Miss White. Bye-bye. Unless I'm Miss White. Am I Miss White? I don't know. What is my last name? No, I'm Anderson. So, huzzah, not it. Lisette followed, wiping her eyes with feigned innocence she knew how to play up. I remained still in Mrs. Gordon's arms, unable to bring myself to fight. Oh, I think we could fight again. To fight, to get at Lisette again. I had done my damage. The gaggle of Lisette wannabes would make sure I became infamous around the school. I didn't care. I made my statement on Lisette's face and body, and I wasn't afraid to do it again. Miss Gordon, however, wasn't done with me. Darn it.
Come with me, sweetie.
I don't wanna. I nodded and followed. My friends frowned as they watched me leave, but they headed to class without me. Traitors. Miss Gordon led me to an empty classroom which she had claimed as hers. It looked like all the other classrooms, but our posters lined the walls. Which we see... where exactly? I see no posters. Many students loved the room, but hated one thing, the mirror in the very back of the room. Really? I kind of like mirrors personally, you know. That's just me, though. It was the one thing Miss Gordon loved to use against her students. With it, she was able to see who was using their phones and who was actually studying. That is kind of ingenious. I love it, personally. Miss Gordon led me to the back of the room and sat me down in front of it.
What do you see?
That your eyes don't match, and you're the first woman I've seen with cleavage in this game. Why is that? When does my cleavage line come in? Because, I mean, the dress I was wearing last time should have shown it. Just saying. Huh?
Tell me what you see.
Your mismatched eyes and earrings. I looked in the mirror and saw myself. My clothes were a little ruffled from the fight, but beyond that, I just saw me. Nothing about me seemed different than normal. I see myself.
All right. What else?
I don't know what you mean. You? What else? I don't understand.
Do you know what I see?
No.
I see a brilliant woman who has been working her butt off to try and find herself.
Aw.
She just has a little bit of adversity in her way.
Aw. Thank you. What does this have to do with what happened with Lizette? Oh, Ivy, you are not too bright, but I get it.
Listen, don't think about Lisette right now. She's just another student who doesn't know what you're going through.
Yeah, empathy and teenagers do not always go hand in hand. I'm not saying there aren't teenagers that are empathetic. I know there is. Just like I know there are adults that also sometimes really fail at empathy. But, you know, from my experiences of high school, way back in ye olden days, because self isn't old, yeah. I stared at myself in the mirror, unable to tear my eyes away. She was right, but I still lingered on what happened for Lizette. I knew Miss Gordon was only trying to help, but I couldn't fight the thought in my head. Miss Gordon gently rubbed my shoulders, snapping me from my thoughts. I looked up to see her smile down at me through the mirror.
You know, those were some pretty interesting moves.
Thank you!
Taekwondo.
You know it? Yeah.
You'll have to show me one day.
Cool. When do you want to do this? We can hang. I laughed as she hugged me gently.
Look, don't let Lisette get to you, okay?
Way too late for that.
You have your own battles to face, and
Really?
you can face them just fine.
Thanks.
Instead of fighting Lisette, focus on your goals.
Fighting demons. Becoming Buffy. Gotcha. I looked up at her and nodded slightly. It was a cliche to hear, but she was telling the truth. I need to focus on myself first. She gave me a small packet of tissues and told me she would handle Lizette. Really? Yeah, if you could finish her roughing up for me, that'd be great. The fear about my family learning this that had quickly appeared had vanished when she promised to keep me out of it as much as she could. Yeah, no, your parents should totally know. I'm sorry. No.
Everything will be fine now.
Really?
You're a good
Promise?
student, so I'll let you off with a severe warning.
You're gonna get the incubies out of my
Just
house?
don't get into any more fights, okay?
I make no promises.
Now, head to class.
Yes, ma'am. I nodded before heading to class. And now we're back to skippable material. My dad texted me. Or I thought it was my dad. I waited around. I missed on riding home with my friends. Unfortunately, that did not end so well because then I was kidnapped by demons from hell, you know, like you do. And now I have the choice to wait or fight. Last playthrough, I showed you what happens if you wait. You end up real dead real fast. So, guess what? I choose to fight. Let's go. I will teach you pain. No way this was happening. No one wasn't going to let myself be a victim of this. At a girl. I gotta remember, what was in that book? Ooh, right, because we read the book this time.
What are you whimpering? Are you praying that the boys will come and save you?
You poor delusional fool. I kept grumbling, trying to remember, and shut my eyes. Studying for a brief second wasn't enough to keep a spell in my mind, but I had to try something, anything. All of a sudden, the air grew still and silent. I opened my eyes and looked around and gasped at the sight. Everything was frozen in time, as if the clocks had stopped, and everything followed suit. What the? At first, I instantly wanted to move, but my feet were glued to the ground. I guess I couldn't change time and escape from where I was, but I was still lost. What was I supposed to do? Hello? Did I summon you? Are you my familiar? A soft wisp of wind made me turn to a floating light purple orb. I stared as it glowed, giving off a warm feeling. For some reason, this thing made me feel happy and content. Despite the situation I was in, my heart felt like crying, yet I didn't know why. It couldn't have been. Grandfather? Why did you leave me your house? What is up with the protection spell? Why do the incubus know about it? Answer me! As I muttered, the orb slowly grew and faded into a spirit of my grandfather from when I last saw him. I stared up at him. You mean the funeral? That's kind of morbid. But I stared up at him, completely shocked that I was correct and that his form was standing in front of me.
I guess it was a good idea to bring the incubi here after all.
What now? That was your doing? Blink, blink. What? Is it really you? What do you mean? My grandfather smiled before patting my head gently. I couldn't feel it, but I knew he tried, so I closed my eyes in acknowledgement before looking at him again.
Sweetie, I'm sorry for not telling you.
You should be.
But I didn't know if you were ready to know.
I was ready. I was born ready. That you handle demon magic?
Yes.
Wow, you're being straightforward today. This is refreshing. How did your son turn out the way he did? Why? What is there to gain from learning and using demon magic?
It wasn't a matter of gaining anything except knowledge. Through magic, I was able to learn more about the demon world and its wonders. I even met your incubi friends.
Cool. The same incubi that are the reason I was kidnapped by demons. Thanks. You met the boys?
Yes, it was I who helped them come here. But it seems it was at the cost of my life.
What? No. No, I don't like this plan. What? Why? Why sacrifice yourself like that? None of this made sense. He died to bring the incubi into the human world? Why? Why? My mind was practically screaming in anger. I needed answers. With time being frozen, we had all the time in the world. Why would you die for something like that? Why leave us alone? Why leave me alone? Have you met your son? I mean, for real, he hit me.
I wasn't intending to, my dear. But now that I'm gone, you have a chance to find yourself without anything hindering you.
True. What?
Your father had always been so hard on you.
Yeah?
I'm to blame for that.
Oh.
He learned of my studies before he married your mother and pushed me away, promising to never follow in my footsteps.
But magic! Seriously, what is wrong with my dad?
As he was my son, I still loved and cared for him.
Yes?
I helped him in little ways, from paying bills and making sure he had food to come home with by adding money to his accounts. You don't know how hard your father worked to get to where he is now.
Wow. Honestly, I had not considered that. That was nice to do, but at the same time, knowing how proud her father is, I could also see that really rubbing him the wrong way. This does explain the strain on the relationship, though. I stared, trying to take it all in. It was true that my dad worked really hard, but I didn't realize how rough he had it. No, my dad is not a person. Stop it.
When you were born, I couldn't have been any happier.
Aww.
I tried to give you as many toys as I could, but
That's
many of them
nice.
were tossed away by your father to protect you from me.
No. Boo.
I thought I would never be able to see you, but when I found you on the street, I was blessed enough to be given a chance. After I brought you back to your parents, I asked your mother to convince your father to let you visit me often, and he finally agreed.
Yeah, Mom always was the better of the two. Seriously, when she eventually divorces him, she can live with me. I'm just saying. Why does Dad hate you so much? Why put that on me?
Your father saw me as a monster. He was afraid I would hurt you.
Demon and magic.
He wanted to protect you from me at all costs, even if
Aw.
it meant becoming a monster to you himself.
That's sad.
You did not know my father! You did not know what he was capable of!
It's not like you were offering up as a virginal sacrifice when I was a kid, I hope. What kind of magic were you studying again? What were these spells?
He truly does love and care for you, but he
Yeah.
doesn't want you to be as curious as I was.
Well, too bad for him. I got the curiosity. Curious?
I chose to learn about magic. I grew curious about it. He thought that was wrong, so when I didn't give it up, he shut me out of his life.
No, that's sad. And you guys never reconciled before you died. This is why you shouldn't hold grudges forever.
What a stubborn old man.
You should know.
So I did the only thing I could do. I gave everything I owned to you, including my hidden books your father never knew of.
Oh. If he knew you were studying magic, I'm willing to bet he knew about the books. My head began to spin. There was too much information. It was all going so fast, despite time not moving a single inch.
I'm just so happy that my curiosity stayed with you.
Me too. Although, this glowy ball thing, is it gonna continue? Cause, I am a teenager, like, on dates, and, there's stuff I don't want to do in front of Grandpa. All I'm saying. So my grandfather met the incubi. That seemed so surreal. I could hardly believe it, yet here was the spirit of my grandfather telling me. Yeah, my life turned into crazy town. Just saying. It was almost like a dream. So you introduced them to the human world?
That's right. I told them about the wonders of our world, and they all wanted to come to experience it. So I helped them come over and gave them everything they needed. They traveled everywhere, and I helped them as they learned more about humans.
Cool. Also, you should have told me this while you were alive. Because you see where I am right now, yes? If you had just let me know ahead of time, a lot of this could have been avoided.
Then, I suddenly stopped breathing. I don't know why, but I believe it was because my time was up. After I died, the boys tried to come back. However, Mallets attacked them instantly when they crossed his path.
Yeah.
I used the last bit of my strength to guide them to the estate so they had a place to stay to heal.
Oh, that was you. Okay, I will be nicer to them going forward, because now that I know they actually were invited, and they actually do know you, okay, I'll be nicer to them. So that's why they were in the house. But they said they didn't know about the house belonging to anyone.
I never told them it belonged to anyone. I merely told them to head to the estate for shelter until they could learn to live on their own.
Okay, cool. Good to know. But how do I get them out? Is there a spell for that? Have I just adopted them now? If the estate was meant for them, why give it to me?
I never knew your father would move you in so quickly. Even
Really?
still, you managed to learn of them and learn of the demon world. You even were curious enough to study the magic.
Yeah, I am fun like that. Why not teach me when I visited?
You were too young to understand.
No, I wasn't.
I was hoping that you would make the choice to learn on your own when you were ready to handle it.
Cool.
And you did.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Aw, thank you. At least someone in my family is. What are you saying? I've barely begun reading it. I don't remember anything.
I will help you remember.
Really? Time to cheat. Cool. Grandpa cheat code is best cheat code. Then my grandfather gently bent down and kissed my forehead. All at once, my mind began to fill with spells and history of arcane magic. Aw, we didn't get to do the harrowing. Boo. The demon world and everything my grandfather had known. I'm just saying that this feels like cheating to me. And not in the fun way. I looked up at my grandfather again, now able to remember everything and more as he smiled down at me.
Never forget. Make your own choices and do what you need to do.
I'm trying to do that.
Don't let someone determine your life for you. If you decide to never look at magic again, I'll understand. But now at least you know it's there.
For now, yes. Also, determine life for them. It's not like, someone's clicking menu options. My grandfather then patted my head before turning and walking away. I tried to follow after, still unsure and lost as ever, but my feet remained stuck to the floor. Wait, please! He didn't turn back, and he didn't stop walking. Soon he vanished past the wall, leaving me alone once again. I gritted my teeth, trying not to cry. My mind was filled with both the power to defend myself and a large amount of confusion I could never hope to shake off. I could feel the air around me start to move again, so I tightened my hands into fists, trying to push away my concerns. I had to remember, I was Malix's captive. I had to escape. After I escaped, I could figure out my life. #priorities. Soon the world around me returned to normal, with Malix mocking me. I closed my eyes and began to mutter a spell from my memory. Spiritulumnin do forturiam tom.
What the? Latin? What are you?
I don't know. I'm probably really pronouncing it wrong, too. Desidio. Cool. All of a sudden, a wave of light burst from my body, washing over the room and pushing the devils away from me to the ground. As the light quickly faded, I shook my head, feeling a small weakness in my legs. Malix quickly hopped up and growled at me, obviously surprised, but irritated beyond belief.
Where did you learn that? I will rip that tongue right out your mouth!
1, no you're not, and 2, my grandpa helped me cheat. Spiritus tenebram pericalium prohibere.
Come here!
Nope. Malix charged at me, dropping the gun that would never hurt me to the floor and reaching for my face. However, I quickly crouched down and covered my head with my arms while a dark magic circle appeared under my feet. Above me, a dark shield appeared, blocking Malix from touching me.
Ugh! How? You're just a human!
I'm a magical human. A human who knows how to fight back. I pushed against the shield, forcing Malix back before standing. I wasn't some damsel in distress. I could fight for myself. I shook out of the sudden appearance of numbness in my hand as I glared at Malix, challenging him once again to come at me.
Malix!
Yeah.
No! Stay out of it!
Yeah.
Kill this bitch with my own 2 hands, one way or another!
Good luck with that. As commanded, Eris stood away from us along with the other devils. The group watching us was lost in intrigue as I stood up against their leader.
Oh, you must think you're so tough shit.
Thinks I know.
Well, guess what, princess?
What?
Demon magic consumes energy.
And?
This all day. When you lose all your energy, your ass is grass.
I don't know about that, man. I'm pretty energetic. I got this. I glared. Knowing that what he said was true, I couldn't hold out forever, but I definitely had the energy to last a while until someone found me. Or until I could overpower Max and him somehow. Malix charged at me once again, causing me to run backwards to keep some sort of distance. I could feel energy wanting to shoot out my hands, so I pointed my palms at Malix. Light purple spikes suddenly began shooting from my hands, forcing Malix to skid back. Pew, pew, pew. I had terrible aim. Oh, the video games, they taught me nothing. Only able to scratch the edges of his body, with 1 or 2 actually stabbing into his shoulder and leg. Malix growled, pulling them out and throwing them to the ground.
Quit playing around, Malix!
Yeah, Malix. Quit it. I lowered my hands, feeling the numbness run up through my veins to consume both my arms. I began to pant, Desperate for some relief before continuing, Malik smirked at the sight. Keep smirking, I'm gonna wipe that look off your face. Oh, for the love of God, please someone find me, I prayed. I hoped that I wouldn't have to keep fighting. I was becoming desperate. What made everyone in that warehouse drop our fighting faces was the screeching of police sirens. Coming closer to our location, Malik smirked even wider. That is not a smirk. That is kind of look of WTF.
It's time to have fun, boys! Make sure you kill them all!
You wish. The devils seemed to get excited and start to walk past us to meet with the cops, but a loud finger snap stopped them and made them turn around. Malix and I looked to see Eris with her hands in the air, post-snap.
Eris?
Aw, snap, girl.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what is she doing?
Enough, Malix!
Yay!
We've wasted enough time in this stupid town.
Hey! My town's not
I'm
stupid.
getting out of here, and I'm taking the rest with me.
You do that. You are clearly the smarter of the two. I didn't know whether to laugh or not. I bit my tongue as Malix got angry again. I think this is pretty funny. It deems a chuckle at the very least.
Like hell you are! Boys, do as I say, or else!
Oh, sweetie. They know who the alpha is here. It's not you. None of the boys moved. Ezra snapped her fingers again, causing the boys to rush back past her and out another way from the warehouse.
Malix, it's over.
You heard the lady.
You can't even beat a human girl. You're
Loser.
losing your powers.
Yep.
Lower devils only follow higher-ups that actually have power.
Like your chick. You should thank her.
Shut your mouth!
You shut yours. Girl, I wouldn't take that if I were you. Malik summoned his gun to his hand and shot multiple times at Eris, who somehow managed to teleport away from the shooting line, reappear by us. She shook her head, letting out a sigh. Before grabbing Malix by the neck and pulling him off of me, Malix started to choke as Eris stared coldly at him.
All this for a bunch of pretty boys.
I know, right?
You must be stupid and desperate.
Exactly. I won't put up with it if I were you, girlfriend. Eris looked at me, making me tense up.
Human!
Yes?
I suggest heading home to your pretty
Yes,
boys. You don't want to get involved in a supernatural investigation. It's a pain in the ass.
Will makeshift paladins be involved? Because I kind of want to meet them. I'm just saying. Now that I know they exist in this world, could I become one? She then turned back to Malix, glaring daggers at him as she glared back at her.
You really think women are weak? Let me fix that, sweetie.
Get him. And with that, Eris vanished into the shadows, taking Malix with her.